Again, and welcome back to the Scott Sport Cup final studio. Well, the Celtic team has been confirmed. We're just waiting to hear from Jock Brown about the official Rangers line-up. We think that Mel Sterling may be wearing the number 5 shirt instead of Derek Ferguson, but more or less a pretty strong line-up, Sandy, really.
A pretty strong line-up, but I think they might put Sterling against Paul McStay. Obviously, they know that Paul McStay is a very, very good player, and I don't think they would want him to run the match, and they might put him against them, close him down, and try to give him less time on the ball.
If this is an opportunity for someone, one thinks of Ray Wilkins, who's not playing, to take the game by the scruff of the neck and do a bit of controlling from midfield, how hard is that going to be, Davy?
I think Rangers will miss Ray Wilkins. I'm surprised that Graham Souness hasn't stepped into play, given that Derek Ferguson obviously isn't fit enough. And I think Rangers are short now of a player who can sit in front of the back four, make passes, and allow the other players to get forward. And I don't know whether Mel Sterling can do that job for Rangers. I think they will miss Derek Ferguson and Graham Souness.
Yes. How much pressure will, the younger players of these sides, although there's a lot of experience, but...
He may well come on and make an impact as he did in the semi-final, but that's the Celtic line-up with the back four anticipated as being Morris, McCarthy, White and Rogan, with Roy Aitken joining Peter Grant, Paul McStay and Tommy Burns in midfield. So that looks to be the Celtic line-up, all right, and we don't see any surprises there, but Rangers have definitely been keeping some things up their sleeve. There's no doubt about that at all. The Rangers line-up will show no Ray Wilkins. That was expected this morning, but the other news for Rangers is no Derek Ferguson. He's not being risked with that damaged shoulder. So Mel Sterling wears number 5, but my understanding is he will play on the right side of midfield, leaving Ian Ferguson and John Brown in the middle, with Mark Walters playing wide on the left, perhaps early on, with Drinkle and McCoist up front. Graham Souness, you'll note, confirmed as Ian St John anticipated as substitute alongside David Cooper. So these are the lineups. Ian, what do you make of that?
Well, I heard David Provan saying there that Rangers will probably miss a quality player in midfield, with Ferguson not playing, and I think he could be right there. So I think the Rangers lineup is a bit of a help to Celtic this afternoon.
Well, that's the news just before the kick-off with the team lineups. Well, let's see what the panel back in the studio with Adam Monfort think about that.
Yes, indeed, more or less as we thought. Disappointment for Derek Ferguson, Sandy, at the end of a hard-working season, but he does seem to have a suspect shoulder, which I gather is going to be treated perhaps in the close season.
Yes, the lad will be really disappointed to miss a game of this importance. But it gives Rangers a problem there. Their midfield's not their strongest midfield, and I think that Graham Souness is an absolute certainty to come on the park at some stage.
Yes,
maybe after the first half hour, after the game settles down, I think he'll come on. But it's a wee bit of blow for Rangers not having Ferguson and Wilkins in the midfield.
Could that perhaps swing the match Celtic's way, David? Do you think something as significant as that?
Well, I think Billy McNeill will look upon it as being an important advantage at this late stage. I must say I feel sorry for Derek Ferguson because he's been very brave. He's fought with a lot of pain throughout the season, and really has come to the most glamorous occasion of the season and is going to miss out. But I think Celtic now have an edge.
Well, we'll take a look at the Celtic lineup, which was, as we thought, no real surprises there, obviously. And I suppose one would have to say that's as close to Celtic's best lineup as one could expect.
Well, apart from Andy Walker being out, Billy has a full squad to choose from, and he also has the bonus that Derek White has come back to full fitness. And Joe Miller he has had the benefit of Joe Miller, who really has seized his chance with both hands and looks very comfortable now playing through the middle.
Right. Well, I'm going to ask you for a prediction in a moment, but I wonder what kind of shape of match we can see. Obviously, you mentioned earlier, Sandy, the quote was Rangers-Celtic games tend to be played at 100 miles an hour and they're over almost before you think they've started. But will it be a ram-stamming game, or can we see some skill in this match, which we're all looking forward to?
We'll definitely see skill, there's no doubt about that. But I think at the start of the game, it'll be very, very hectic. I mean, it'll be 100 mile an hour stuff. But once the game settles down, it is very warm out there today, and it is a lovely day, and that'll take its toll on the players. And once it settles down to more of a passing game, then the two teams have got very good passers in it, and I think we should see a very, very good game indeed.
Yes. What about you, David? Do you think it's going to be the kind of entertaining match that we hope it will be for everyone, for the guys out there at the game and for the viewers at home?
Well, if the 4 previous league games this season are anything to go by, we should win for a treat. And we're now coming to expect goals in Old Firm games. Both sides, it's not as if it's a league game and they're going out to try and get a point and maybe steal the 2 points. They're both going out to win. Quality players in view. I think it should be a cracker.
Right. Well, there's an interesting picture. The Jack McGinn on the left from Celtic, talking to David Holmes on the right, having what's known as a wee blether before the cup final. They were going back up to the VIP director's box very shortly. But that leads us nicely, I think, to prediction time. And I suppose the only prediction from me is that you're both going to pick the sides that have meant so much to you over the years. But Davy, what about yourself, first of all, the defending trophy holders here?
Well, I can understand why most people have Rangers as favourites. I don't see it that way. It's a one-off occasion. This is Celtic's last chance to salvage what has been a very disappointing season. And I think Billy McNeill and Tommy Craig will have the Celtic lads fired up sufficiently to do the job.
Mm-hmm. Sandy, the thought of a treble is when you think that most professional footballers play all their lives and never get a medal, here are the fellows, looking for a third major title this season.
Yeah, it's a great incentive to go for them for today to get a treble, and there's not many times that it happens. I think it's a wee bit blow for Rangers that the two midfield players are not playing, but I still think they're good enough to win.
Right, well, there we are. We'll see how it works out. The scene at Hampden is coming up now, 10 to 3 or thereabouts. Massed pipe bands, the pitch looking absolutely magnificent, as we saw in our opening helicopter shot way back round about 10 past 12. Well, it's time now to go over to the National Stadium. We'll be hearing from our panel guests at half-time, and we hope to be reflecting on the first half of a great final. So with best wishes for a good commentary, it's over to Ian St John, and first, the voice of Jock Brown.
Thank you very much, Arthur. Yes, welcome to Hampden. It really is a magnificent setting in the sun this afternoon. Both sets of supporters relishing the occasion to the full. And there's the usual introduction, the ball boys coming out first. Then out comes Graham Souness wearing his tracksuit top as the Rangers manager. He'll also be in the dugout because he's named himself as a substitute. So the two teams emerge to a tremendous reception. There's Davy Cooper and Billy Stark, these experienced players on the bench. Richard Gough coming out. Here's Bob Valentine coming out to handle his last ever match, his third Scottish Cup final. He's 50 years old, retires after the match. And he was in charge in 1977 in Old Firm final, and again in 1984 when it was Aberdeen against Celtic. A great career for Bob Valentine, and there's the familiar lineup for the formalities before the match. The Rangers fans chanting Championes for their favourites, and Graham Souness out for the very first time in a cup final, either in England or in Scotland. He did tell us he won an Italian Cup medal for Sampdoria, but never has he taken part either in the FA Cup final or the Scottish Cup final. Same applies there to Terry Butcher and to Chris Woods. Gary Stevens, though, won a cup medal in 1984 playing for Everton against Watford. Richard Gough lost for Tottenham against Coventry 2 years ago. So going down the line of Rangers players, there's Ian Ferguson shielding his eyes, who scored the winner for St Mirren against Dundee United 2 years ago. And Mark Walters there also enjoying his first major National Cup final occasion. So there's the Celtic manager, Billy McNeill, on the right. He has 7 Cup winners' medals as a player in a very long, illustrious career at Celtic Park. Roy Aitken has played in 4 Cup finals before this afternoon. Tommy Burns also loads of experience in Cup finals. And Anton Rogan, there's Chris Morris, there was speculation about his future. Derek White back in the side. And the Celtic players with Peter Grant, who was so disappointed being left out last season through injury at the last moment. So a very colourful sight as the SFA hierarchy go down the line. There's new president Peter Gardner is there. David Holmes, the chairman of Rangers, introducing Ian Lang, the Scottish Office Minister, to the players, together with Peter Gardner and Jack McGinn, the Celtic chairman, coming on at the end. And there are the linesmen. Ernie Walker there, perhaps in charge as SFA secretary at his last Scottish Cup final. The officials this afternoon, Bob Valentine with George Dunbar and Bob Mullen, the linesman. And now it's the turn of the Celtic players to be introduced. Jack McGinn organising himself to make the introductions. Ernie Walker standing back while the players are introduced to Ian Lang and to the SFA president, a new president, Peter Gardner from Stirling Albion. So the players anxious to get these formalities over with, there can be no doubt about that. And Billy McNeill on the end. Proud occasion leading out his team for a Scottish Cup final once again. With the massed white bands behind. Roy Aitken looking very relaxed and calm. Well, you really couldn't imagine a better setting. The pitch looking in magnificent condition, although the grass is a little bit longer than you would normally expect for a major final. The team's now breaking for the warm-up. White bands there. Billy McNeill makes for the dugout for a very tense 90 minutes to come. Bill manages a smile as he takes his seat. So there's the Celtic players now lining up and warming up finally for the start of the match. Well, we know their lineup already. There it is, confirmation once again, and the news from their camp is that the central defenders will be Mick McCarthy and Derek White, with Roy Aitken adding some strength to midfield alongside Peter Grant and Paul McStay, with Tommy Burns on the left flank. And it's the 32nd birthday for Mark McGee, who's enjoyed such a magnificent season for Celtic, scoring 19 times so far. And he, of course, has 3 Cup Winners' medals in successive years, 82, 83, 84, playing for Aberdeen. So Rangers, confirmation there of their troubles through injury. They have no Ray Wilkins, no Derek Ferguson. That's why Graham Souness is there on the bench. Mel Sterling is wearing number 5, but we expect him to play on the right side of midfield, with the centre of midfield occupied by Ian Ferguson and John Brown. So for Mel Sterling, a very important afternoon after his recent signing from Sheffield Wednesday, where he was coached early in his career by Ian St John. And he normally plays at right back, or did so before coming to Rangers, where he's played in midfield for most of his matches since coming north. Well, Roy Aitken has 3 Cup Winners' medals already. He was also involved in that incident in 1984 when he was ordered off against Aberdeen. And it was today's referee, Bob Valentine, who was in charge on that occasion. But Aitken looking forward to his 5th final. Graham Souness enjoying the warm-up, although he'll not start the match. He's out there on the field, and of course, with the SFA ban not applying to him when he's named as substitute, he can be in the dugout this afternoon. So there's the wonderful setting there of the fans behind in shirt sleeves. It really is very warm indeed out there, and the players will find that very testing. Well, Joe Miller's had a great resurgence in form towards the end of the season, wearing number 9, and he may well play through the middle, where he thinks he can play very effectively indeed. He's now persuaded Billy McNeill of that. And the Rangers and Scotland centre forward, Danny McCoy, is playing in his first Scottish Cup final. He's managed most of the honours in the game, apart from a Scottish Cup Winners' medal, and there can be no doubting his determination to put that right this afternoon. Well, Graham Souness heading for the dugout now. Walter Smith is still up in the director's box. Graham Souness standing there for the moment with Jimmy Nicholl on his left, the reserve team coach, player coach. So there's the sun-kissed setting for the 104th Scottish Cup final. It's the 13th Old Firm final. And referee Bob Valentine checking with his linesman to begin his last match in charge in Scottish football as Rangers will get the match underway. Well, the opening minutes expected to be very important indeed to make an impact on the play. There's Derek White making a good clearance from Kevin Drinkle. And indeed, Rangers have sprung a surprise straight away tactically. They've left John Brown at the back with Stuart Munro pushing forward on the left side of midfield. So that's very interesting at this stage. With this free kick now to Rangers, Ian Ferguson will take it once the referee is satisfied about the positioning of the 2-man Celtic wall, Peter Grant and Tommy Burns. Ferguson looping the ball in, it's headed away by McCarthy. Ferguson to Sterland. There's Anton Rogan with a headed clearance. So a throw to Rangers, that'll be taken by Sterland. A long ball into the middle, McCarthy challenged there by Butcher. There's Ian Ferguson to McCoist. There's Terry Butcher trying the long range effort. Well saved by Bonner. Butcher racing back now into defence. So a very impressive opening there, Ian, by Rangers.
Very bright opening indeed, and I would think that when they get free kicks, corner kicks, you know, with Big Terry and Goffin up there, you know, the Rangers will be looking to try and find them.
Headed away by John Brown, winning 10, but still.
Yes, but it's a good ploy, isn't it? Because McStay is a man that can make Celtic tick when they're good. So if you can nullify him, then you're going a long way towards turning the game in your own favour. So it'll be interesting to watch and see, you know, if Monroe can do the job and keep McStay quiet.
So free kick to Rangers, a foul by Derek White, challenging for that high ball. The Butcher has a chance to go forward once again. Richard Goff staying back to take the free kick. McCarthy trying to watch that ball hanging in the air. There's Sterland. Well, Rangers playing with the benefit of the breeze. And this high ball played in by Goff. An awkward one hanging in the air there, and it was McCarthy who headed it clear straight to Sterland, who couldn't keep the volley down.
Mel Sterling, I was having a chat with him before the game, and you know, although he's only played one game at right back, I think he's quite enjoying this role in midfield. But down in England, you know, he was a very aggressive player, very strong running player coming from the back, and I would expect to see him doing that this afternoon.
Celtic coming forward. Here's Roy Aitken with Mark McGee. John Brown going in with that powerful challenge on McGee. The referee gives the throw. Mark McGee looking for a free kick in vain. Aitken playing on the right side of midfield. Peter Grant in the middle marking Ian Ferguson of Rangers. There's Joe Miller. Running into Butcher. There's Paul McStay. Back it goes to Grant. Well, he kept the shot down well, Peter Grant. Still to find the net this season. This isn't a bad effort, taking the pass from Paul McStay, and the shot goes wide. Still no difficult one for Chris Woods to do in the match. Helped on there by Sterling. Here's Burns. Drinkle collects. Brought down there by Anton Rogan. Well, Drinkle in a very tight corner here, playing the ball past the fullback and then being brought down. Well, Anton Rogan, the offender, and the free kick again entrusted to Richard Goff. He waits for Butcher to go into the box. Butcher's the target, all right. He's won it well. There's Aitken. Header forward by Aitken. And the early news coming from Wembley is that Steve McMahon has given Liverpool an early lead. Well, there's a very good start for you, Ian, for your cold club.
Yeah, it brought a smile to my face, that one.
Well, one change in that information. Liverpool have scored, but the scorer was not Steve McMahon. It was the inevitable frontman, John Aldridge, who got the goal for Liverpool. Chris Morris going forward. There's John Brown looking for Monroe. That's won well by McStay. It's all very hectic for the moment. There's a good pass by Munro. Drinkle on the run. That was intended, I think, for McCoist, but it's Anton Rogan who's gone across. And he had to slide in there to avoid a corner kick, taking a photographer with him. So Mark Walters with the throw for Rangers. Walters towards Stelland. Burns is the marker. That's a good turn by Tommy Burns. Long ball into space, but too far away from Joe Miller. Celtic playing a very rigid 4-4-2 formation early on, with Miller and McGee up front. A lot of hard work for the front men. Well, the shirt sleeve crowd enjoying this very fast start to the match. Brown playing it up the line, but McCoist can't reach it. Mick McCarthy sending it all the way back to Bonner. So Celtic now trying to make progress on the left. There's Rogan. There's McStay. Rogan towards Burns. Excellent control there from Burns, inducing that clumsy challenge from Gary Stevens. Referee Valentine has a word with the English international fullback. And it's a free kick to Celtic. McStay taking it short for Rogan. Stevens going with a header, it breaks to Aiken. And Goff calmly back to Chris Woods. Goff anxious to avoid the disappointment he experienced 2 years ago playing for Tottenham against Coventry in the FA Cup final, losing by 3-2. Also had the misfortune to be in one of those unfortunate Dundee United lineups. So the decision goes Rangers' way. McCarthy's clearance. Headed down well by Aiken. The challenge came from Ian Ferguson, but he showed his studs to Paul McStay, and the free kick's been given for dangerous play. No damage done on McStay, and it's McCarthy with the free kick. Mark McGee signalling for the ball. Aimed for Aiken. Controlled by Butcher. Sure-footed pass back by McCarthy. Cross header very accurate. Headed by Peter Grant, goes for the Rangers throw. McCoy's trying to turn off McCarthy. Here's Burns. Examination on the face of Tommy Burns. Linesman's flag is up. Throw to Celtic. Bob Mullen from Kirkcaldy is the linesman. There's McGee, challenged well by Stevens. McCoy's taken on the back by McCarthy. The referee allows play to continue. Joe Miller nodding it on, chasing his own header, but John Brown is across behind the central defence. Well, 10 minutes gone, but fairly untidy so far, Ian.
Well, yes, I think both teams just feeling their way a little bit, you know, trying to get put themselves into the game. There's been nothing too exciting as yet. As he says, you know, it's going to be one of those games where they might feel each other out for quite some time before we really get the skilled players breaking their way into the game. You know, Mark Walters, for instance, not really had a touch at the ball at the moment, and we're all waiting to see what he can do. We're waiting to see what Joe Miller can do when he gets the ball at his feet. But I mean, that'll happen very soon, I think.
Ball in there again for Kevin Drinkle. Played forward by Sterling for McCoy. He's very strong in possession, but it's Rogan who wins it from him. Aiken once again available on the right side of the Celtic midfield. There's Mark McGee. Now Barnes. Hefty challenge there by Sterling, judged fair by referee Valentine. The referee appears determined to keep the match flowing. There's Derek White. Good interception by Goff. An awkward one for Butcher with Miller challenging. Butcher did well. Stevens trying to bring Walters into play. Well, the defending players just content to clear the lines for the moment. Determined that they don't make any early mistakes which could throw the initiative to the opposing side.
I don't think Celtic are set out to play in the sort of cavalier manner that they did in the semi-final game against Hibs, if you remember, when they had a tremendous first half. You know, they're more patient, and I think they've probably thought about this, that you know, if they can bed themselves down early on in the game, really exciting way. If they can bed themselves down in the early part of the game, then they've probably got a better chance than charging at Rangers.
Well, that charge there by Kevin Drinkle almost brought problems to the Celtic defence. A great piece of goalkeeping by Pat Bonner, coming out smartly and managing to keep the ball inside the 18-yard box despite the claims of Drinkle. There's Burns with a header. Brown towards Ferguson. There's Stevens. Drinkle trying to get in behind White. Derek White did well, kept his body between Drinkle and goal. Morris winning the throw off Walters. Neat turn by Miller away from Butcher. Burns is free on the left, promising this for Celtic. Burns chipping it in. There's Butcher in the middle. Well, a little chipped pass was aimed for Joe Miller, but Butcher won that cleanly. Now it's with McGee. Aiken going back, using Chris Morris supporting from right back. That's for McStay. Well, too much pace on the pass. It was McStay who made the opening with a run into the box, but Morris couldn't find him.
But he had lost his marker, Paul McStay there, and if Monroe's going to do the job, then he's got to stick with him, and if McStay makes runs into the box, Jock, you know, he's got to follow him in there.
Barnes and Sterling challenging, Grant and Ferguson together. Stuart Monroe making the challenge also on Grant. Bonner going for the orthodox long ball forward. Well won by Goff. Rogan lets it run, and it'll be Celtic who try to make progress with McGee. There's McCarthy. Aiken again. Under pressure from Brown. Aiken's header. Here's Joe Miller. He's away from Butcher. Miller shot off target, but quite clearly now Celtic are trying to use the pace on the ground of Joe Miller against Terry Butcher. An interesting ploy that, Ian.
Well, it's a very sound ploy when you think about it, Jock, because the one thing big centre-halves don't like is little nippy forwards around them, and Joe Miller is exactly that. He's a small fella and very quick, and if Celtic can get a ball into him, into his feet, I'm sure he'll give Big Terry quite an afternoon of it.
So a quarter of an hour of the cup final gone, still no scoring, and still going through the tense, nervous opening period. The game still to settle to any real pattern. A lot of respect being shown by both sides. In the 4-4-2 formation, still not much joy for the strikers yet. Butcher in the box for Goff's free kick. There's Walters. And Bonner calls to his Republic of Ireland teammate Mick McCarthy to leave that. Well, Bonner commanding his penalty area. Brown's headed into midfield. Goes Ian Ferguson. Walters and Morris together. Tackle came from Stuart Munro, who's not at all pleased that the referee has given the throw to Celtic. Morris and Walters debating the issue on the touchline. The referee Bob Valentine having a quiet word with both players as play continues. Touched on by Walters, but Roy Aitken is penalised for barging into the Rangers number 11. It's a free kick to Rangers, rather. Walters trying to get involved in the play. He's had a lean time of it so far. The way the game has gone. There's John Brown with a free kick. There's Goff. Joyce got his head to the ball, but could cause any problems for Bonner. Away there by Butcher, challenging Roy Aitken. Butcher steps in ahead of Miller. McCoy's trying to control it under pressure from White, who did well. This is Aitken. Joe Miller has come off Butcher again, but he's firmly tackled by Ferguson. Joe Miller didn't relish that challenge by Ian Ferguson. The referee Bob Valentine saw nothing amiss. There's Paul McStay with his shadow, Stuart Munro close to him. This is Rogan. McGee from Miller. Well, he couldn't control it on the run. But Miller has shown great ability in coming off the Rangers central defenders to take possession on the ground. McCarthy and McCoy together, a tangle between the two players, and the referee gives a free kick to Rangers. McCoy on the ground, we'll see why here. There's wrestling going on. McCarthy holding McCoy's back. His arm caught McCoy about the face. The free kick's gone to Rangers. There's going to be some tussle this between Larry McCoist and Mick McCarthy. Now an opportunity for Rangers from a set piece. 4 in the wall for Celtic. They'll have to move a long way back. Well, ideally Rangers need a left-footed player for this one. Davy Cooper is on the bench. It would be ideal for him. A discussion involving Ferguson, Walters and Mel Sterland. Sterland playing it in low. Drinkle back to Munro. No offside flag. There's John Brown. Trying to get away from Morris. McCarthy in plenty of space. Stevens across to Goff. He'll take no chances. Well, Mark McGee very close to him. Goff looking just a shade casual with the pass back.
Well, you see, the grass is a bit long, you know, Joe. We did talk about that before the match, and you know, the ball's stuck in the grass, and the players don't like it when it's just that little bit long. You know, they prefer it when it's shorter, where the ball rolls quicker on the ground.
Well, there's the aerial shot of Hampden Park, a very impressive setting indeed. There's where the action is on the field. Offside decision giving a free kick to Celtic. McGee looking for space up front. It's McCarthy's free kick. Goff commanding his defence. Twinkle to Ferguson. Here's Monroe. Now Brown. Put under pressure severely there by Paul McStay. Good challenge by Morris and Walters. This is McStay. Good running by Morris. Can he reach it in time? Well, the long grass didn't hold that one up.
The referee, you know, has allowed quite a few tackles from the back, and I'm just wondering if he's maybe just a little bit lenient now, because players are getting agitated. He's allowed about half a dozen tackles that normally you'd expect him to go for a foul. Now, I know he's wanting to keep the game going, and that is important, but we're now at a stage where if he doesn't stop it, you know, players start losing their temper, and the game could get really untidy.
Yes, indeed. Let's hope he doesn't have to start exerting visible with any yellow cards early on. Here's a break from McCoist. The pass came from Ian Ferguson. Good running by Stevens, but Rogan was alert to that. And the goal kick was awarded by the linesman and acknowledged by the referee. Good piece of defending, though, by Anton Rogan, who anticipated that move very well indeed to make the challenge on Stevens. Winning it comfortably for Rangers. McCarthy helping it forward. There's Butcher again on McGee. Chris Morris with the long pass back. A lot of speculation about Chris Morris's future. Whether he'll be staying at Celtic Park or moving south. Leeds United being hotly tipped to make a bid for his transfer. Under pressure from McGee, did well. There's McCarthy. Ian Ferguson finds Walters. The first real chance he's had to run at the Celtic defence. And the pace of Chris Morris equal to the task. Free kick goes to Celtic. Well, Walters looks inquiringly at the referee. Well, Walters is keen to make a break here, and he did seem to push into the back of Morris. The climbing there by Richard Goff as far as the referee was concerned. He's really unhappy, Goff, about that decision. Joe Miller was the player he was challenging. Didn't appear to be a great deal in that. Certainly some frustration for Goff, and a set piece for Celtic to exploit. Shot from McStay to Barnes. Here's Rogan. Aikens at the far corner of the box. Brown was there for Rangers. Here's Morris. Aiken going wide. And obstruction by Brown. Roy Aiken appears to think that was deliberate. Brown makes no complaint about the free kick being awarded to Celtic. Crowded Rangers penalty box now. Nick McCarthy in the thick of it. Headed away by Butcher. Here's Paul McStay showing delightful control. McGee has the cross blocked by Brown. There's McGee. Great turn. Drinkle back, helping in defence. There's Derek White, put under pressure immediately by Ian Ferguson, and that's what forced the hurried ball forward.
Well, we haven't seen an awful lot of skillful football, have we? You know, and controlled football. It's been a very scrappy game. In fact, it's only Paul McStay really that looks as if he can play a bit this afternoon. He's shown a bit of quality, but the others, it just seems to be you know, hash and a bash and just knock it forward and charge around.
So around the 25-minute mark, still no scoring here at Hampden. And it's all very evenly balanced at the moment. And there's a bad knock in the face for Tommy Burns. Came from Mel Sterling. Now Tommy Burns wears contact lenses, so that could be particularly awkward for Burns. Well, an accidental blow in the face it was, undoubtedly. And Tommy Burns clearly looks in some trouble. Here was the ball played forward hurriedly by Sterling, right into the face of Burns. And with the contact lenses adding a little bit of extra concern to the Celtic bench, this is a moment of anxiety for Celtic. A very severe blow in the face from the ball. And Tommy Burns looks as though he's recovering quickly now. Well, this certainly would have sore one. No question about that. And happily Burns appears able to resume, and the contact lens remains in place. Stevens with a throw. Rogan's header, there's Sterling, well tackled by Grant. Drinkle getting back well, breaks to Monroe, here's McCoist. Drinkle towards Walters, who was caught offside. Mark Walters joining the front men for that move. Caught isolated there in offside position. Rogan easing the ball back again to Bonner. Celtic pushing forward for the long ball, which really is food and drink for Butcher and Goff when it goes through the middle. There's Butcher this time. McCarthy winning it in the air. Here's Ian Ferguson trying to assert himself in midfield for Rangers. Tackled well by McStay. Brown up the line for McCoist. McCarthy steps in. Brown again looking for movement for this throw. Walters with the run. There's Peter Grant. Long one for Miller to chase. Butcher wins it in the air. Brown couldn't keep it in play. Roy Aiken taking the throw from his role on the right side of midfield. Chris Morris playing it forward. Mark McGee caught in line with Richard Goff. The referee acknowledging the linesman's flag for offside and allowing play to continue with Chris Woods in possession for Rangers. Drinkle's header goes straight to Rogan. He returns that to Stevens. Well, it really is untidy play for the moment. McCarthy turns it back. Not vintage stuff, Ian.
Well, Gary Stevens giving the ball away there. I mean, that's ridiculous, really, at this level. You know, I mean, you've got to, when you've got that ball, you've got to keep a hold of it as a team, and neither side are managing to do that. But I did feel that Rangers would miss somebody in midfield who could really pull the strings for them, and that's what's happening. There's nobody there with the quality. You know, if Graham Souness, was a couple of years younger and playing in there, I'm sure we'd see a different game.
Drinkle with a pass, a good one for Walters to chase. Good control under pressure from Walters. He's still holding off Chris Morris. And it needed the help of Roy Aiken coming back to halt the progress of Walters. Well, that'll give him a little boost. Monroe looking for McCoist. That's good defending by Derek White. There's Butcher. McCoy sets off in chase. Oh, good play by McCoist. Here's Walters. Drinkle waits in the middle. Sterling arriving late, and Tommy Burns taking no chance at all, nodding that behind, really off his shoulder for the corner kick. So persistent play there by Ali McCoist, retrieving that ball at the byline, earning Rangers in the end the corner kick. Mel Sterling will take. Butcher making for the centre of the penalty box. There's Richard Goff. Played away by Aiken. Here's McGee now. Celtic trying to hit in the break. Through the middle goes Grant. Nudging the ball away from Goff. A hefty tackle there by Goff on Grant. Roy Aitken looks irate. And referee Bob Valentine is going to have a word with Richard Goff. Well, Peter Grant made a tremendous run from defence when Celtic broke. And you'll see this now. There's going to be a booking for Goff. There was the high challenge by Richard Goff, and it will result in a yellow card being shown to the Rangers international defender. Well, the referee, who has been a little bit indulgent earlier on, now books Goff, and I feel a little bit of sympathy for the Rangers defender.
Well, I must say, I thought Richard Goff had travelled back, and it was really just a clash of bodies there going for the ball. Richard Goff must have ran, 60 yards from the Celtic penalty area, and I thought he was doing a good job getting back, and really I didn't think that was a bookable offence at all. I think that was purely accidental.
Well, Peter Grant has recovered, yes, I must say. I felt a little bit of sympathy there for Goff. He did appear to try to play the ball, but there's Kevin Drinko going in firmly on Tommy Barnes and inflicting a bit of damage on the veteran Celtic midfield player. The referee being invited to consider that carefully too by Tommy Barnes. Kevin Drinko was involved. Nearly Barnes felt the studs were shown. The throw goes out. So it's Anton Rogan now with the throw. Here's Joe Miller, played forward by Sterland. There's Chris Morris. Well, it is very important, I think, now, Ian, for referee Bob Valentine to keep a sensible grip on proceedings. If there's a sense of injustice among the players, there could be a little bit of a flare-up here.
Well, I was saying that before. I know he's got a difficult job. Obviously, it's not easy out there, Celtic Rangers, the atmosphere as it is, and trying to be, given impartial decisions on everything. But, he's got to be careful here because the game could fire up.
So the clock showing we're past the 32-minute mark without any scoring. And without either goalkeeper, in all honesty, being seriously troubled so far. Sterling going in heavily on Paul McStay, and McStay took a very heavy blow around the chest. And that tagger from Sterling, which the referee is taking no action about. Billy McNeil clearly upset about that, and I must say there did appear to be a little bit of recklessness here on the part of Sterling. And they clashed here with McStay on the ground. Pat Bonner turned the ball out. The referee saw nothing worthy of a foul about that, and I have to say this is the kind of incident which can cause problems, because Mel Sterling did appear to be at best a little bit reckless in that challenge.
Well, here the challenge coming up, and Mel Sterling played the ball and then carried right through with his studs and caught McStay in the midriff. I would have thought it was a foul had I been a referee, but as I say, he's allowing the game to go on, and a lot of the clashes and tackles from the back, which, I've seen more tackles from the back here this afternoon than you see in a whole season down in England, I have to say that. And I think it's always bad for the game, because, players are coming in there and getting whacked when they don't see the guy coming.
Yes, a surprising decision not to give a free kick there, all right, and the throw goes to Rangers. A little bit of nudging and pushing, and the ball was coming from Gary Stevens between Walters and White, giving the free kick to Celtic. Challenge there by Ferguson on Grant. Here's White. Good running by McGee. Goff getting back. A well-timed challenge by the Rangers defender. At the expense, though, of a corner kick. McCarthy goes up. Anton Rogan is also going into the box. Far-flung corner. There's Roy Aitken. A good chance now for Celtic. The ricochet falls kindly, and ball goes behind Tom Butcher. Mark McGee looking hopefully for a handball decision. The ball ricocheted about the 6-yard box. Wow, real danger for Rangers here, and Aitken did well driving it across. It dropped back off the Rangers defence, and it was turned away by Butcher. There's Tommy Barnes. There's Aitken. An awkward one for Woods. And turned over by the Rangers keeper as Mark McGee applied the pressure. Well, Woods did well, kept his eye on the ball to turn it over. Another corner to Celtic. Woods is committed. There's Grant to McStay. This is Anton Rogan. Neat sidestep. Ian Ferguson made a good tackle. This is White. He's away from McCoist. Peter Grant trying to control it. McStay again, instant control. The pass finds Morris on the right. Walters being tackled by Morris, but it's Rangers in possession with Walters. Peter Grant getting back at full tilt now to make a tackle. And a body check there on Walters. Looks like a free kick to Rangers. Peter Grant covered a lot of ground to make the tackle. Well, a body check on Walters.
And a good right hook as well, I thought. I thought that was quite a nifty little one there from Mr. Grant. Could result in a bit of a black eye there for Mark Walters.
Well, a free kick it is to Rangers. It'll be taken by Brown. Held it away firmly by McCarthy, and it's back with Richard Goff. There's Morris. Aiken finding space again on the right side of midfield. McGee's made a run, but he's offside. The pass coming rather later than McGee wanted it. So free kick to Rangers. Terry Butcher will take it. There's Trinkle getting a touch on from McCoist. Now Sterland. Stevens breaks on the right. Rogan goes to meet him. It's back now with Sterland. That's a very awkward ball. Well taken by Bonner. Joe Miller chasing across. But Brown, can he squat that for the throw? So John Brown, wearing 10, playing at left back. His Hamilton Aki's position before being transferred to Dundee, where he became a midfield player, and then that £350,000 transfer to Rangers. Frustration again for Celtic as that throw is given to Rangers. And a very late challenge there by Mark McGee on John Brown. McGee explaining himself to Brown, and Brown had released that pass a long time before McGee went in, and the referee Bob Ballantyne is going to show the yellow card to McGee. Well, there's no question in recent minutes that the Celtic players have carried a sense of injustice about them, and McGee perhaps showing some frustration with that challenge, and obviously feeling a sense of injustice again about that booking, Ian.
Well, to tell you the truth, I just watched the ball being played away, and I took my eye off Mark McGee, so I didn't see what he was supposed to have done.
Well, he certainly did come in late and take the feet from Brown, and it's perhaps symptomatic of Celtic's feelings about the way the match has gone from the refereeing position. Rogan with a throw. McGee not quite getting a touch. There's Joe Miller back with Burns. Goff stepping in ahead of McGee. Morris to Aiken. Well, Morris was intent on getting forward, but couldn't control it. 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Still no scoring. There's the scoreline and an indication of the remaining 5 minutes of the first half.
In fact, Joe, we've never really looked like getting a goal, have we, in this half? It's been poor fare.
Well, the Old Firm League matches producing a barrel-load of goals so far this season. 4 matches and lots of goals. McCoy's trying to get through, and Derek White holding him off. Well, White appeared to lose his bearings for a second there, but the ball coming to no harm in the end for Celtic. There's Richard Goff with the header to Stevens. There's McCarthy. Sterling's header. McCoist across to Brown. Trying to take on Aiken. The Celtic captain wins it but concedes a throw. Well, no, indeed it's a Celtic throw taken quickly. Here's Peter Grant. That's intended for Joe Miller. A great interception by Goff. Stevens in trouble. There's Joe Miller. 4 minutes from half-time. Celebrations begin on the Celtic bench. A dreadful error by Gary Stevens, and Joe Miller puts Celtic ahead. No problem there, it would appear, for Gary Stevens, and Miller wasted no time filling that behind Chris Woods.
Well,
what a disaster for Gary Stevens.
Is that not the second time in the game that he's given a bad back pass, Gary Stevens? That was dreadful, wasn't it? I mean, the ball just stuck on the grass here and set up for Joe Miller to slot in. A terrible mistake.
Well, Gary Stevens will have to overcome that. What a terrible error to make in defence in a cup final. There's the scoreline now. Joe Miller's goal, putting Celtic ahead. But here's Mark Walters. It's off the line by White. A miraculous stop on the line. Rangers hitting back instantly, and suddenly the cup final has come to life. The shot goes beyond Bonner. We fully expected that to go in, and Derek White appeared for the clearance. There's Mark Walters. Punched away by Bonner. There's Sterland. Trying to find Walters again. Chance to run at Morris. Morris preventing the corner. Oh, the Celtic, 2 minutes left, and what has suddenly become a hectic first half. Disappointing opening half hour or so. Suddenly the whole match has come alive with that Celtic goal, and look what these Celtic supporters think about it all. Well, they're here hoping to see Celtic prevent Rangers win the treble. Led in by Walter, that's over for a goal kick to Celtic. The noise you hear now coming from the Celtic end behind Pat Bonner. Thoughts will be going through the head of Gary Stevens, a very experienced professional, but clearly he'll be very anxious to see Rangers get back on terms. Full credit, of course, due to Joe Miller for the way in which he snapped up that chance. Kevin Brinkle working hard for Rangers, along with McCoist in a twin-pronged attack, looking for some Walters magic on the flank. Brown plays it inside. Here's Ian Fergus. That's a good pass. Here's Gary Stevens. Well, I think he was attempting a shot at goal. It almost became a good pass for Ally McCoist.
That's exactly that. He was trying a shot with his left foot, which is not his good one. And had he even elected to pass there, he could have slid McCoist in with a pass. First half for Gary Stevens. Roy Aiken with a header. Stevens goes to retrieve it. The Rangers may accept the throw. Well, the 45 minutes are over in the first half. There has been some time for injuries, notably to Tommy Bonds and to Paul McStay. Still 1-0 at Wembley for Liverpool, and 1-0 here at Hampden for Celtic, courtesy of Joe Miller. There's McStay towards Barnes. And there's Mel Sterling, but the half-time whistle goes. Joe Miller has separated the teams with that goal in 41 minutes. It was a dreadful error by Gary Stevens. The first real clear chance of the first half. Stevens with the error. Joe Miller with a deadly finish.
Well, the half-time score is Celtic 1, Rangers 0. And don't go away, we'll be right back with our studio panel right after this break.
World Cup final studio. They're having a breather out at Hampden, where it's very warm indeed. And the half-time score, as you've seen from the first half, which I think certainly was controversial in some parts, is Celtic 1, Rangers 0. And we'll be looking at some of these tackles in the first half, which prompted some interesting comments from both Ian St John and Jock Brown, and also one or two gasps, I can tell you, here in the studio with Davy Provan and Sandy Jardine. It was a disappointing first half until the goal, really, it would have to be said to both of you, wasn't it?
Yes, the game never settled down. Both teams were pressuring very well, and with that all we got was people just kicking the ball up the park and chasing. And it wasn't until after the goal, which was late on, that things started to happen.
Yes. Let's have a look at it. And I think there was an interesting point that you both made here, was that the throw actually looked as if it was Rangers' throw.
Yes, at the time I thought it was Rangers' throw, but full marks to Celtic. They took a quick throw and caught them up the park. But having said that, Stevens makes a terrible back pass, and Joe Miller did terrific.
Well, it certainly was an interesting one, and Miller, as you said, way back, was in the right place at the right time, Davy.
Yeah, he's looked very sharp. I think we all expected the game to be fast, but really it hasn't slowed down at all since the word go. It's amazing how quick the game has been. Nobody has managed to get their foot on the ball and make any passes at all. And I think it was inevitable that if we were going to get a goal, it was going to be from a mistake, because neither side had been making any chances.
Yes. The remarkable thing was that within 60 seconds, Rangers very nearly equalised with their best chance of the match. And the Celtic seemed to be taking a breather, and away they went to the other end here.
Well, they say a team's most vulnerable when they've just scored, and Celtic at 6s and 7s there, and Mark Walters for the first time in the match having a good chance, and a great bit of defensive play by Derek White getting behind his goalkeeper.
It was quite amazing, Sandy, how quickly the game came to life. It really was remarkable, because the game was actually going nowhere, was it?
Well, it was basically getting bogged down, but as I say, the goal sometimes lets the nerves go. People then say, right, we've got to do it, we've got to go and try and get a goal now, and the other team's got to say we've got to go to hold and get the football going.
Well, there wasn't a lot of football in that first 40 minutes, and we've put together some of the challenges, some of the tackles, and there was some pretty hefty stuff going on, wasn't there? Much of it disappointing, much of it the kind of thing you don't really particularly want to see in a cup final.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought Richard Gough was very unlucky to get booked. Maybe the referee should have done things a wee bit before that. It's always easy to criticise the referee, but I think if he had done these things, the game wouldn't have went like that.
Yes. Yes, and the point was that the first 40 minutes was almost memorable for the number of hefty tackles like that. That
was a shocking tackle, that one. Mel Sterling very lucky. When you think that Richard Gough has been booked, really, I think Bob Valentine felt at the time that he had let a couple go that he should have punished, and he's booked Richard Gough for a pretty innocuous foul, and then he's let that one from Mel Sterling go. Really, Bob Valentine, I've seen him having better games.
Sandy, what do you think of it so far in that respect?
I think basically the referee could have clamped down on a couple of tackles early on.
Right, well, we'll see how the second half goes. We're going to take a break. Rejoin us here for the whole of the second half in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to Scott Sports Scottish Cup Final. Interesting speculation in the studio here from both Sandy Jardine and Davy Provan, who say that they think it's a certainty that Graham Souness will come on at some time in the second half. Well, we shall just have to wait and see. Referee Bob Valentine is about to get the second 45 minutes underway. Celtic lead by that shock Joe Miller goal just before half-time. It's 1-0 as we go back to Ian St John, and first the voice of Jock Brown.
Yes, the second half here at Hampden about to begin. And there are certainly hopes here at Hampden that the quality of play in the second half will be a great deal better than the disappointing fare produced in that first half. The match certainly coming to light after Joe Miller cashed in that Gary Stevens error. And there's the goal scorer, Joe Miller. The Rangers clearly will have had some thoughts about how to turn the tide the second period. Very interesting, of course, the thoughts about the possibility of Graham Souness coming on. He has to consider, of course, the possibility of extra time this afternoon too if he does come on, so he'll be weighing up, I've no doubt, how long he thinks he can last the pace. So turned away by Morris for a Rangers throw. Here's John Brown, away from Grant. Trying to set up Ian Ferguson for a shot at goal. McGee back to McStay. Joe Miller drops back on the right touchline where he's so comfortable. Here's Grant. Good ball inside to McStay. Now Celtic putting some passes together. There's Tommy Barnes trying to link with Joe Miller. Now Stevens. White did well getting in front of McCoist. Well, even under that kind of pressure, McStay was trying to play football, losing out to Drinkle. Here's Gary Stevens trying to send McCoist through the middle. Good play by Morris. Fine covering play by the fullback.
You know, when Richard Gough picked the ball up there was not a movement at all from any Rangers player, so he had to really just pump it forward and hope for something happening. There's no movement of the Rangers players when somebody picks up the ball.
Monroe tackled by McStay. Back with John Brown. That's for Monroe to chase with Morris, but Morris has enough pace. Stuart Monroe battling hard to settle into that unfamiliar role for him, a midfield marking role. Always full of energy and diligence, but finding it difficult to pin down Paul McStay. There's McGee. It's turned away by Butcher. Monroe's pass back. Celtic will undoubtedly be very determined to hold their lead in the opening 10 to 15 minutes of this half in particular. Well, McCoist managed to remain onside by doubling back with the Celtic defenders, but that meant the ball reached Pat Bonner before he could get to it. Back it goes to Stevens. There's Drinkle, tackled firmly by Grant. Peter Grant playing for the moment with one foot. Well, plays it forward, the chase is on, but McCoy has been elbowed off the ball by Mick McCarthy.
Now I think that was a bookable offence because, you know, here's a player running through into the danger area and he gets an elbow in the face. I think the referee's very inconsistent this afternoon.
Well, it's Bob Valentine's last match in charge before retirement. Turned out to be a difficult one. A free kick to Rangers. McCoy certainly a hot handful for Mick McCarthy when he makes these runs from deep positions. There's Walters playing it towards Butcher. A collision between Butcher and McCarthy. Butcher clearly thinks he was fouled, but certainly with the collision didn't appear to be a great deal in it. So Mick McCarthy has survived that little onslaught. And Pat Bonner in no great hurry about the goal kick, keen to settle play down for his team. Aikens header, there's John Brown. Miller and Butcher go for the ball. Neither could reach it in time. Celtic with the initiative with this throw, which Roy Aitken will take. Morris returns a chance for the cross. Brown was in the way, and Celtic have a corner kick. Lots of movement inside that penalty area as Tommy Burns places the ball for the corner. Right to the far post, Woods looks in trouble. And McCarthy challenged all the way there by Terry Butcher, and just as well, because Chris Woods appeared to be caught in two minds. Started to come and then changed his mind. Here's Joe Miller taking that flick from McGee, robbed by Stevens. Skidding off the head of Morris. McCarthy did well, but this is Ian Ferguson. Fine header to Walters. Still Mark Walters. There's McCoist. Challenged by McCarthy. McCoist caught off balance. Well, they appear to think about taking a dive, Ali McCoist. This pass came from Walters, a good one at that. There was McCoist. Couldn't control it. Headed down by McGee. Morris lofting it forward. Up goes McGee with Butcher, who wins it. Drinkle gets his head to the ball. There's Rogan. And the pass back saved there by Pat Bonner. Good piece of goalkeeping. Certainly hasn't been called upon to produce too much by way of heroics this afternoon so far, Pat Bonner. Brown getting above Roy Aiken. There's Paul McStay. Finding Rogan in space. McStay wants it back. Burns. That was intended for Grant. It's collected goal by Drinkle. Now Walters. Celtic always have two men there. This time it's Morris and Grant. And the late challenge by Brown, and Peter Grant withstood that, and it's Celtic on the break. Here's Joe Miller. McGee on the left, Morris on the right. Still Miller. Tried to do it himself perhaps. Robbed by Goff, and Stevens steps in. Good defending there by Richard Goff, standing his ground, facing his opponent, not diving into any rash tackle. Well, Graham Souness now warming up. We may see him before very long. Going behind Pat Bonner's goal where the Rangers fans are congregated. Ferguson to Stevens. McCoy is trying to reach that, but it will run for a goal kick. This Morris settling in well after his recent appendix operation. Very quick recovery. Pat Bonner's view of the playing field. Played back well by Morris. No mistake there. Pat Bonner looking downfield at Celtic fans facing him. So towards Tommy Burns. Sterling. Well tackled by Burns. And the linesman says a throw to Celtic. The referee accepts that verdict. He's headed, there's Butcher and Stevens. There's a bit of an anxiety when he sends balls back to the goalkeeper after the error in the first half. McCarthy's header, there's Miller with a good header wide to Roy Aiken. It's Chris Morris. Aiken still there in support. Walters making the tackle. A beautiful play there by Paul McStay. He's brought down by Walters. Well, the man displaying the most skill undoubtedly this afternoon is Paul McStay of Celtic. Consistently involved in the play, not afraid to demonstrate his excellent close control and his passing ability. Free kick will be taken by Chris Morris. Headed away by Stevens. There's Aiken with Walters. McStay down to Morris. Aiken to McStay. The offside flag is up against Paul McStay. Linesman Bob Mullen from Kirkcaldy taking a little bit of stick from Roy Aiken and Paul McStay about that.
Certainly didn't look an offside decision from up here, Jock.
An awkward one for McCarthy, did just enough to ease the ball back to Bonner.
I'm just wondering how Rangers are going to get back into this game, because they don't look as if they're going to carve out any chances. It may have to be a mistake by a Celtic defender or whatever to allow them in.
Butcher through the middle. McCoy appeared to be impeded there by Derek White. The referee saw no deliberate intention there. Perhaps felt that McCoy's run into White. So Davy Cooper now getting instructions from Graham Souness. Clearly going to join the action very soon. Brown's hurried clearance. And here's the change. Off goes Mel Sterland and on comes Davy Cooper. That'll mean some reorganisation of the Rangers formation, I think. Sterling goes off, and Davy Cooper, who is the only survivor of the Rangers team which won the Cup in 1981 against Dundee United, comes on. McGee playing it back for McStay. This is Grant. Aaron Morris. Celtic settling to a better possession game in the second half. Knocker bounce beating Butcher. There's McGee. Now Chris Morris. Back it goes to Grant. The tackle was by Stevens. There's Paul McStay. And with an offside flag up against Peter Grant. That's some superb football again from Celtic. McGee playing it into Morris. He pulled it back for Grant. Stevens did well with that tackle. And then Paul McStay set up the shot for himself, but sent it wide of target. Joe Miller to Rogan. Signs now that Celtic are growing in confidence. Here's Tommy Burns striding forward, bundled down by Goff. Almost impossible to hear the whistle in this bedlam. And a free kick it is. And that positive run from Tommy Burns causing all sorts of problems for the Rangers rearguard. Well, Celtic looking more and more impressive now as the game wears on. Looking for a second goal, which would make life extremely difficult for Rangers. Chris Morris, the dead ball expert, waiting. The wall did its job. Back with Burns, challenged by Walters. And the throw goes to Rangers. Headed away by Rogan. Rangers have made some ground, still have possession. Rangers now with Walters on the right and Cooper on the left. Gary Butcher's header. Up goes White. Now Burns. Good pass to Grant, who took up good position. That's for McGee on the run, but the athleticism of Gary Stevens sorts that out for Rangers. McCarthy helping that back to Bonner. Well, 1 hour of the cup final gone. Celtic still leading by 1-0. The scorer Joe Miller in 41 minutes. And the latest position at Wembley is that Liverpool still lead by that John Aldridge goal in the opening minutes. Against Everton, they lead by 1-0. Here's Goff. Bonds goes back, challenged by Drinkle. Celtic's throw. Things looking good, Ian, for Celtic at this stage.
Well, they're much more composed. You know, when they get the ball, they're keeping a hold of it. They're playing a bit of football, and they thoroughly deserve now to be winning 1-0.
Very quiet, very aggressive going for that ball. Stevens wins it from McGee. Long ball again from Woods, won by McCarthy. And a bit of elbowing by Kevin Drinkle, picked up by the referee. Celtic's free kick. McCarthy thinking about using Pat Bonner, then sees Ali McCoist in the way. Roy Aitken's the target. Got a touch on. Butcher into space on the Rangers left. There's McCarthy. Robbed by Drinkle. McCarthy battling to get it back. Derek White gives him some help. Well, Derek White did well once again for Celtic, and he's had a good match in central defence.
He certainly has. He's very tidy. He's sweeping up around Big McCarthy. He's let McCarthy go for most of the stuff, and White is doing the tidying up.
Pat Bonner taking all the time he can about bringing the ball out. Just had it. Here's Davy Cooper picking out Stevens. Walters breaks on the right. Peter Grant causing problems for Stevens. Butcher to Goff. Well, Celtic will not be unhappy about this, keeping the ball in the Rangers' half.
There was just no movement at all when Rangers picked the ball up. Everybody's just standing looking at the player with the ball. You know, they desperately need somebody in the middle of the field there who can go and get the ball. I mean, Wilkins obviously would have been the ideal man today. Ferguson is not there, so he's missing. And Graham Souness, you know, the last card really that we've got to play. And I think Graham should get on there.
Well, Graham Souness still resisting the temptation to go on the field. A free kick now to Rangers, which Davy Cooper will take. Goff and Butcher waiting at the corner of the box. That's towards Goff. Back it goes to Walters. Bonner was down, it's hooked back in by McCoist. Up goes McCarthy. It stays clearance. And here's Roy Aitken now surging out of defence. Stopped by Ian Ferguson. Well, the Celtic defence moving very dangerously there. No question about that. Rangers taking great encouragement from that burst of activity around Pat Bonner. And Mick McCarthy won a vital high ball in the 6-yard box in the midst of all that action. There's McCoist. Drinkle to Walters. Here's Davy Cooper. Blocked by McCarthy. Cooper content to accept the throw. Here's Walters. Nodded out by McCarthy. Grant and Ian Ferguson together. McStay with a pass towards Miller. Here's McStay again. That was intended for Chris Morris on the break. Well, suddenly Rangers have picked up the pace a little. Cooper's arrival has certainly done no harm at all. Here he goes again. Oh, brilliantly passed Roy Aitken. That's towards Drinkle. Derek White was there. And Bonner coming all the way out to catch it. Well, that was Very determined play by Pat Bonner, but what a great cross this is. Look at this ball from Cooper now. Drinkle and Ian Ferguson open on the penalty spot, but he looked for Ali McCoist, who was in fact adjudged offside.
As you say, Cooper at least has come on and he's managed to find another blue jersey when he gets the ball. And that's just what Rangers have not been doing. They get it and just give it away. And it takes a player of class like David Cooper and a player with experience to say, OK, let's try and keep a hold of this ball if we've got it.
Well, that's the impressive aerial shot again on Hampden. No activity just for the moment, while Paul McStay gets some treatment. Well, he certainly is a player, perhaps the player, most of all, that Celtic will want to keep on the field. Well, Graham Souness doing the stretching exercises, which appear to indicate that he'll be involved in the play before very long. McStay back on his feet. Good leap there by Goff. This is Walters. Stevens goes outside him. Tackle came from Burns. It's a free kick, all right. Acknowledged by Burns instantly.
That's the first time we've seen Walters move to the right-hand side of the field, Jock, and you know, I don't think that's a bad ploy at all. I think if he stayed out there, we might get a bit of joy.
Butcher making a run in the box as Cooper lines up the free kick. Peter Grant will have to retreat a yard or two before this can be taken. Here's John Brown with a header. Well, Rangers throwing everything at the Celtic defence now. Davy Cooper so deadly from these set pieces, and Brown did well but couldn't keep it under the bar. So Pat Bonner with Celtic's goal kick. Deep into the Rangers half it goes, won by Goff. Stays pass intercepted by Brown, and McCoist is offside. Very eager indeed, Ali McCoist, to get at the Celtic defence.
But he's not really had a pass worthy of the name today, has he? To really get him going. I suppose the one by Walters was a lovely little reverse pass that played him in just a little bit earlier there. It's about the only real contribution that's been made towards him.
Careless one by McCarthy, giving possession straight back to Rangers. Oh, there's a welcome sight for Rangers supporters. Graham Souness preparing for the fray. Grant caught late by Ian Ferguson. And the referee is going to take some action here as Grant and Ian Ferguson square up. Roy Aitken quickly to the scene of the trouble to take Grant away. And the referee will now have words with Ian Ferguson, who certainly was the player who came in with that heavy late tackle. And he's going to be booked. The referee appears to be taking his time about this to let any tempers cool. Well, he certainly came in heavily on Peter Grant, and Roy Aitken deserves great credit for being so quickly involved in separating the players. There will now be the substitution made by Rangers. So here's what caused the problem between the players. It was played forward by Grant. There was Ferguson going in late, and Ferguson has been booked. Off goes Stuart Munro, and on goes the Rangers player manager Graham Souness. So Souness now organising the midfield. There are 21 minutes left of the 90 minutes as Souness takes the field. He'll no doubt have worked out that he could handle 30 minutes of extra time if required. And he's now organising the Rangers ranks for a late surge looking to save the cup final. And while Souness is coming on, the referee booked Peter Grant also for his involvement in the fray, for squaring up to Ian Ferguson. So So Grant and Ferguson booked, now a total of 4 bookings in the match. Here's Ian Ferguson holding off McGee, looking for Walters. Rogan quite content to run the ball back. So Rangers have moved Ian Ferguson to a left centre of midfield position with Souness on his right. So it's Souness and Ian Ferguson holding the midfield now for Rangers, with Walters and Cooper wide on the flanks. Here's Joe Miller with Aiken. That's for Miller again. No offside flag. Back it goes to Aiken. The far post it goes. There goes Buns. Off the line by Stevens. Well, Gary Stevens redeeming himself after the error which gave Celtic the lead. A great ball list from Roy Aiken. Tommy Buns popping up at the far post, beating Woods, but Stevens was there. Walters and Buns clash. The result is a throw on the far side to Celtic. Play from Grant. The tackle came from Souness. This is Cooper. Making space for himself, showing his great skill and dexterity in possession. Butcher thumping it forward. Ian Ferguson has got forward now for about the first time in the match. Appear to be held by McCarthy. Headed out by Buns. There's Souness to Walters. Rogan makes the tackle. Back it goes to Gary Stevens. He's carried the ball over, it looked like it, but the referee waits play on as McCoist shoots it wide.
Well, the linesman kept the flag down, Jock, and it was a beautiful cutback. You've got to say that was a chance, wasn't it?
Well, there would have been some controversy there, I think, had that gone in, because it did appear to go over the byline before Stevens pulled it back. But George Dunbar, the linesman from East Kilbride, had a better view than we did, and he said it was all right. Interesting there, though, to see Ian Ferguson inside the Celtic box for about the first time in the match. The presence of Graham Souness has made that possible.
We just haven't seen today at all any Rangers midfield player getting forward, Jock, have we? So they've got to do something desperate now, and as you say, Ferguson's got to start making some forward runs, because he knows that his boss is in there who can supply decent passes to him.
McCoist to Cooper. Another player can supply good passes. Davy Cooper soon as racing in, and the clearing header came from Anton Rogan. Well, soon as bursting into the box there. Barnes inside. There's Paul McStay, but quiet for the last little spell. Good pass though to Miller. Here's Peter Grant and McStay again. Inside it comes to Grant. There's Buns and Miller. Chris Morris, challenged by Brown. The header from Butcher reaches Roy Aiken. Well, a misunderstanding there between Morris and Aiken, giving Rangers the throw. McCarthy guilty of pushing. McCoist was the victim. Davy Cooper with a set piece once more, lofting that in towards Richard Gough. Challenged well by McCarthy. Here's Walters. And Walters touched it before it ran for the throw. Walters wants to debate the issue with the linesman George Dunbar, but the decision has been given Celtic's way with quarter of an hour of the match left. There's the scoreline. Celtic 1, Rangers 0. The scorer is Joe Miller. Rangers now having committed both substitutes. Graham Souness is one of them. Tackled there by Burns. Butcher couldn't reach it. There's Burns. Crossfield it goes to Aiken. Burns again towards Chris Morris. Good defensive play there by Richard Goff. Intelligent reading of the play to come across and cut off Morris. Chris Woods waving the Rangers players forward. Celtic still have Billy Stark and young Steve Fulton in reserve. Souness to Stevens. Souness once again. Playing it through as Aiken challenged him. Well, we know that Graham Souness has been a player of the highest class, but to come in at this stage in a cup final, it must be very difficult indeed.
Oh, it's difficult for him. There's no two ways about that. But I mean, the situation was desperate, and it called for desperate measures. That's why he's there.
Joe Miller's pass is left by Aiken for Morris. Aiken will take it again. Possession play by Celtic. McStay made the run. Brown will prevent McStay reaching it, and that is a goal kick to Rangers. Well, we're at the stage in the match when the players have been entitled to be feeling the pace. Playing a cup final like this in the sun, stamina now becoming an important issue.
I'm just wondering now if the Rangers' strength, because they are, I think, a stronger side, physically a stronger side, if it might tell in this last 15 minutes, Joe.
They still have to find a way through the Celtic defence, which has played very well indeed this afternoon. Rangers get the throw this time. Here's Souness. Stevens. Well, that's good play by the fullback. The pass finds Cooper. Halted there by White. Chance now for Celtic on the break with Grant. Goff collects it as it goes towards Joe Miller through the middle. John Brown. Good play by Brown. McCoist back to Ferguson. Here's Davy Cooper. On his left foot. Blocked by White. Appeals to handball. Waved aside. Referee deciding the ball played the man. No deliberate intention. Joe Miller holding play up with Celtic in possession. Careless one inside. Rogan and Walters miss the ball. That will be a throw. And I fancy it'll go to Celtic. Gary Stevens doing well, winning possession for Rangers. Here's Goff. McCoy beaten by McCarthy. This is Souness holding off Grant. This is Mark Walters. Wrinkles control. Inside is McCoist. Tackled by McCarthy. It's Aiken who breaks clear. Burns in the middle. McGee's on the left. Miller on the right. McGee being hustled by Stevens, but he has kept possession well. This is Paul McStay. Well, this will be tiring for the Rangers players as Celtic keep possession. Given away by Morris to Butcher. This is Cooper. Now Butcher. Stevens to Souness. Played forward for Walters. And Graham Souness hangs his head there in disappointment about the quality of the pass.
The game's really opened up in midfield now, Jock, for both sides. We're getting a lot more space in there for people to play.
Richard Gough now coming forward. We'll see him a great deal, I think, in attack now for Rangers in the closing stages. Good pass from Morris. Here's Roy Aitken holding off Cooper. They're giving Miller to make a run, which he does willingly. Long left leg of Butcher comes in to concede the throw. 10 minutes remaining, 1-0 to Celtic. Joe Miller playing it back. Cooper wins it. They appear to be fouled by McStay. So a free kick to Rangers. Trailing by 1-0, as are Everton at Wembley. It's Liverpool who lead by John Aldridge's early goal. There's Gary Stevens, who won a cup medal for Everton in 1984. Ian Ferguson, who won one for St Mirren 2 years ago. Here's Walters. Good flowing move this from Rangers. Fine cross and excellent goalkeeping by Bonner. Well, Pat Bonner celebrates his 29th birthday next week. And his experience called upon here with an excellent decision and a good piece of handling. Butcher's header. There's Davy Cooper. And Souness. Pass finds Walters. Well, he showed enough of the ball to Anton Rogan. Well, the clock, the enemy now for Rangers, as they throw everything forward. An attempt to level the match. There's Gary Stevens. That came off Tommy Burns. Drinkle's header. Agonisingly across the face of the goal and turned away brilliantly there by White. Too long for Bonner. Drinkle did well. A looping header back over Pat Bonner. Oh, look how well Derek White does here, escorting the ball to safety. Chris Morris is on the ground, he's in trouble. Well, Morris was challenging Kevin Drinkle for the high ball when he came by that injury. What a great ball it was. Drinkle going up, there was Morris landing very awkwardly. Ian Ferguson couldn't make it as White escorted it away. On the track. The Celtic very happy and relieved to have this goal kick. Richard Gough's header. Letting Drinkle chase. Morris shows that he's recovered fully. A good little sprint and header. Gough's header controlled by Souness. Here's Brown. Good lay-off from Ferguson to find Souness. Now Gough under pressure from Grant. Celtic working very hard indeed to close down areas for the Rangers players to exploit. There's Butcher. Back it goes to Gough. Mark McGee chasing. Here's Brown. Now it's Joe Miller's turn to come across. Cooper under pressure from Roy Aitken. There's Gough again. Now Stevens. Souness wants the ball in the middle. Tackled firmly by McStay.
When you say Souness wanted the ball in the middle, he didn't want it like that.
Well, certainly a hefty challenge from Paul McStay. A fair one at that. 5 minutes remaining. Celtic desperately trying to hang on as Rangers throw everything at them. Good play by McGee, and Miller is offside. Chris Woods making sure that there be no time wasting. Graham Souness has waved Gough forward into attack. McCarthy coming for it, there's Butcher. Now McCoist. There was no offside flag. That was Rangers' best chance of the match. The ball going high from McCarthy. Butcher wins this superbly. It goes straight through to Ali McCoist, normally so deadly, and he slices the ball over the bar.
Well, you get the feeling after that one that certainly it's not Rangers' day. That was the chance of the game. Ali McCoist has had 2 chances really in the last 10 minutes, and that the better of him, and really and truly he'll hang his head in shame if they don't score before the 90 minutes are up.
Yeah, Celtic may indeed be thinking about the champagne now with that miss from Ali McCoist. Souness left back all by himself in the middle now. He's pushed Butcher and Gough forward. Souness now playing a kind of centre-half role with Stevens and Brown beside him on the flanks. The desperation now for Rangers with the 2 central defenders up in attack. Stevens returning it to Pat Bonner. Pat Bonner getting that stern lecture from Bob Valentine, the referee, about time wasting a moment ago. And there was an offside flag up against Roy Aitken. He's questioning the linesman about that. Does it appear to be correct? So Graham Souness now with the free kick. Here's John Brown. Butcher up for the attack again. Anton Rogan's headed out. Here's Gary Stevens preparing to launch the long throw into the box, looking for Butcher and Gough. There's Butcher. It will not count. There was a foul on Pat Bonner as the ball was in the air. He was taken out of the play. This will be clear, I'm sure, from the replay. Just watch Pat Bonner here for this. There's Davy Cooper backing into him, and that's why the goal has been chopped off.
Well, really, it was a silly back-end by Cooper, because when you looked at it there, I don't think the goalkeeper was really going to get to the ball anyway.
McGee going up with Stevens. There's Miller. Now Barnes. Ian Ferguson getting back. White and Drinkle chase, so does Gough. And Derek White once again steps in with a decisive header back to Bonner. He really has been a rock for Celtic in the second half. Touched on again by McGee. There was Stevens. Here's Roy Aitken taking the ball wide. The Celtic players in the box looking for a cross. Aitken prefers to accept the corner kick. That was quite deliberate, playing the ball off Stevens. They can take a corner kick now in leisurely fashion and waste more precious seconds. Davy Cooper wins it for Rangers, and Cooper brings down Peter Grant off the ball. More time wasted. The linesman brought that to the attention of the referee. Now I wonder if any more action apart from a free kick will be taken after this. And there's going to be a booking, and it will be for Davy Cooper, who did appear to trip Peter Grant when the ball was away. vent to his frustration about the state of affairs at the moment. It looks good now for Celtic as time ticks on. Cooper did well here. Well, let's see what he did. Well, there was the incident. And it's given a free kick to Celtic also. So a discussion between McStay and Aiken about this free kick. Well, that was clearly deliberate also. That allows Celtic to regroup on the halfway line, waiting for this final whistle. We've had a minute of time added on. This word has been handed up that Joe Miller wins the Man of the Match award. The referee checking his watch, the Celtic fans whistling for time up. There's McStay, tackled firmly by Souness, but it's still Paul McStay going forward. Here's Joe Miller, the Mr. Superfit of the cup final. And just with that, he shows how tired he's become, tripping over the ball. And there goes the final whistle. Celtic have won the cup. Billy McNeil hugs Kenny Rooney in delight. The treble hopes of Rangers are dashed. Celtic have won the cup for the second year in a row. Jim White has Billy McNeil.
Billy McNeil, Celtic, you've regained the cup. What a match it was, what a struggle.
Well, it was never a classic, Jim, but obviously right to this particular minute that doesn't matter. It wasn't the most classical game we've seen. We defended well when we had to, and we scored the goal that was important, so there you go.
How much satisfaction, Billy, does it give you now that you've ruined Rangers' treble hopes?
Well, I'm not really concerned about that, Jim. I'm more concerned our fans have won something, the team's won something. We've went to the European Cup Winners' Cup as top winner, and that was what was important. We had to work hard to do it, we've achieved it.
Which of your own players would you single out, Billy?
Well, I think the back four played well throughout, and I've obviously got to say that McCarthy and Derek White were tremendous in the heart of our defence, because they put a lot of pressure on with high balls, not particularly skillful, but a lot of high balls, and those two dealt with them well.
Did you think it was always going to take a mistake to lead to a goal?
Well, you've always got to be alert for a mistake. We always felt we might pressurise them into making one, and little Joe finished off magnificently.
Billy, congratulations, back to Jock Brown.
Thanks very much, John.
Delighted Billy McNeil with Jim White, and the Celtic celebrations go on, and Rangers, it must be said, are showing great sportsmanship as they shake the hands of the Celtic players. And the news from Wembley is that Everton have equalised right at the death as Liverpool won, Everton won at Wembley, but here at Hampden Park, it's Celtic who have won the cup for the 29th time in their history. They won by 1 goal to nil. Graham Souness has taken that very well indeed, I have to say. He's gone round the Celtic players with a handshake. They'll be very disappointed indeed that the treble has not been achieved. And there's the Celtic reaction to their historic victory. So there's David Murray, Ian Durrant rather, who's gone onto the field with the Rangers players on his crutches. Durant joining the Rangers players, saluting their own supporters at the moment. What an emotional setting it is. There's Billy McNeil shaking hands with officials. Lex Bailey, who wasn't involved in the final, one of the standby players, shaking his manager's hand. So Celtic, whose recent cup record has been so much better than Rangers, enjoying this occasion once in the 104th cup final, the 13th Old Firm Cup final. The Celtic now winning 7 of them to Rangers 5, with 1 cup being withheld in 1909 because of crowd trouble. Happily none of that this afternoon. So the Celtic fans reacting to the cameras as you would expect. It's extra time now at Wembley, but there's no need for that thanks to Joe Miller here at Hampden. Disappointment for these Rangers players. Terry Butcher always takes defeat to heart. Richard Gough also giving him a few consoling words. Terry Butcher losing his first ever major final. He's won 2 Skull Cup finals,
and a UEFA Cup for Ipswich Town. But it's the Celtic fans who can savour the moment. Paul McStay, who was such a vital influence in midfield, has removed his boots for the moment. The presentations will commence very shortly, but the Celtic players milking the reaction of their fans. The cup waiting there with the SFA Secretary Ernie Walker. The green and white ribbons have already been put in position. Tommy Craig with Mark McGee, who didn't find the net on his birthday, but he'll remember his 32nd birthday for the rest of his life, you can be sure of that. His 4th Cup Winners' Medal. 3 for Aberdeen, 1 here for Celtic this afternoon. He was involved last year too. Was on the bench last year for Celtic. Well, this Rangers players trooping up to take their runners-up medals. Ali McCoy's head hanging, very upset indeed. So keen to win his first Scottish Cup medal. John Brown and Graham Souness bringing up the rear. And here's Terry Butcher. Well, this is not the way he expected to be coming up. The medal's presented by the wife of Ernie Walker, Mrs. Anne Walker. The SFA is secondly getting the honour of having his wife present these medals and the Scottish Cup because of his last ever Scottish Cup as secretary. The Rangers players trooping through. Their faces tell the story. They've lost the cup final. It's clear from all these bitterly disappointed faces. There's no question of them providing tremendous effort. But on the day it wasn't enough. There's Graham Souness taking it in good spirit, although inside, no doubt, full of disappointment. These Rangers fans remaining still not seeing the end of the cup as they hoped and expected. But the presentation now for Celtic. Players being waved up by the captain Roy Aitken. So here come the Celtic players being grouped there as Tommy Burns and Peter Grant salute their fans at the far corner of the field. Brian Scott goes to retrieve them. They've got to go and get their winners' medals. Tommy Burns bowing before the adoring Celtic fans. Billy McNeill will enjoy this to the full. You can be sure of that with his number 2 Tommy Craig, who's been so influential in putting the Celtic team together with Billy McNeill. So here the smiling figure of Roy Aitken. What a contrast now as Roy Aitken goes up to collect the Scottish Cup. The adulation of the Celtic fans. The chairman Jack McGinn leans across to have a word with his captain. And a smile of contentment there for Billy McNeill as the Celtic players pass the cup down the line. Chris Morris there. Will it be his last match for Celtic? Paul McStay, such a fine player on this big occasion. Mike McCarthy also, a tower of strength in defence. Little moment for young Steve Fulton to remember. He wasn't on the field, but he's substitute. There are the Celtic fans. So it goes right down the line. Billy Stark with the goal scorer. There he is, Joe Miller. He scored in 41 minutes. Peter Grant holding the cup aloft. Then it's with Tommy Burns. Time for a thought for Gary Stevens, who made the mistake for Joe Miller's goal. So it's Celtic who won the cup. We're taking a short break now. We'll be right back, so don't go away. We'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back for the last time this afternoon to the Scott Sport Cup Final Studio. Well, the man who's going to make tomorrow morning's headlines and about whom the discussion will still be going on Monday is Joe Miller. Right after the match was over, Jim White had a very quick word.
Joe Miller, congratulations. Your goal was the difference between the two sides. How did you see it?
It was just a break of the ball. I seen a slight pass back, just nipped in, put it by. Chris Woods.
Were you always confident today, Joe, that Celtic could do it? Because during the week, everyone seemed to be quietly confident at the training camp.
Well, I was that confident. I put a wee bet on with myself at 10-1. My first one to score. It's came up.
Congratulations. How much do you win?
I don't know, but it's 25 quid on it anyway.
Joe, your performance was something McCarthy, else, and it has earned you the Mr. Superbit title today, which has been brought in now. You certainly deserve it. Joe Miller, congratulations. Mick McCarthy, one of the tightest Scottish Cup finals in years. What was it like to play in?
It was a difficult game. I mean, it always was going to be a hard game, a hard-fought battle with Rangers. As you said, it's one of the tightest ones. We kept a clean sheet, and we're delighted with that because we've let a lot of goals in this season, as everybody kept telling us. And I think we proved the point today.
In the dying moments, Mick, Rangers were pressing hard, but Celtic, to be fair, could have scored another.
Yeah, I mean, they had to press hard. They got Butcher, they got Goff up front. I think they got nearly everybody up front, so they got to make a few chances. As you said, we could have had another goal, but we got the one that mattered. That's the main thing.
How important is this trophy for Celtic, Mick, in the light of the fact that you hadn't won anything until before today?
I think if you take a look at all the happy faces behind you, you'll realise how important it is to them. To us, it was essential. I mean, it'd have been a failure this season had we not won it, and I think we did it and did it in style today.
Mick, I don't know if now's the time, but what's the future for you? Do you hope to pledge your future to Celtic?
As I said before the cup final, I wanted to get the cup final out of the way. There was a lot of speculation before the final. I don't know too much about it. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I love playing for Celtic, and I've 2 medals now in 2 years. And if I stay at Celtic, I'll be more than delighted.
Mick, congratulations.
Thanks very much. A pleasure.
Well, there we are, a delighted Mick McCarthy talking to Jim White. Well, as we mentioned earlier, most professional footballers go through their entire career without either playing in a cup final, to say nothing of actually skippering a cup final side. Well, that honour once again has fallen to Roy Aitken. Here he is, looking very, very happy indeed. And once again, Jim White has been at the edge of the touchline to talk to him.
Roy, at the end of Celtic's season, to lift the cup, because obviously the Scottish Cup and the Premier League went away from you.
That's right, it's been an inconsistent season for us right from the very start. But what I feel it is today, it's good to win stuff. This club demands success. We've been successful here again today.
It's been said before, Roy, but what about these supporters?
Well, they love it, look at them. It's the old saying, Hampden in the sun, we've done it again.
You're clutching that cup as if you're never going to let it go.
Well, we're the holders, we've got it 2 in a row. Next year we'll make it 3 in a row.
Very many congratulations.
Well, there we are. Roy Aitken clearly does not want to let go of the Scottish Cup. We'll take a break and we'll get a final wrap out from our studio guests in a couple of minutes from now. Welcome back for the last time this afternoon to the Scott Sport Cup final studio. And just before Davy Prover and Sandy Jardine leave us, let's get a chance now to look back at some of the dramatic moments, perhaps some of the key moments in that very, very much better second half. Better, I think, in terms of football entertainment and skill. And we had the rare moment in the second half of watching Tommy Burns with a header. Davy, you haven't seen that very often. And very nearly scored here.
Yes, it was a stage in the game, Arthur, where Celtic were trying to kill the game. A second goal would have put it beyond any doubt. And he did well supporting there. Good cross from Roy Aitken. And Gary Stevens making amends for the bad pass back in the first half.
Rangers fought hard to get into the second half to try to change it by bringing on Cooper, and then Graham Souness tried to change it himself. But it was Kevin Drinkle who worked quite hard, who very nearly got the goal that mattered.
Yeah, it was a good deep cross. He got on ahead on it, and unfortunately there wasn't a Rangers player there to take advantage.
You mentioned that you expected Ian Ferguson to push forward a wee bit, but he didn't actually get into many dangerous positions, really, did he, Sam?
No, he didn't get on the end of anything. I think the reason for that is that Rangers didn't play through their midfield. They hit long balls to their strikers, and he's quite good at coming and supporting strikers, and it just didn't happen. They didn't gather the ball into them so he could come onto them.
Then 4 minutes from time, Davy, the chance of the match, certainly the chance of the day so far as Rangers were concerned. Ali McCoist out in front here with a golden chance to make it 1-1.
Well, I think if Graham Souness could have picked a player to be in that position, it's Ali McCoist. Quite astounding that he missed it, considering his record this season.
Yes. It was I suppose it was, when you see it again, it was a genuine chance, but not a certainty, and there is no such thing as that.
Well, no, certainly not in a cup final, and I think he's just tried to snatch at it. He's been a bit anxious, he hasn't had many chances in the game. He really probably can't believe he's got a chance a few yards out, and he's snatched quickly at it. He hasn't let the ball drop enough.
Yes.
And he's got under it.
And there was further drama to come, Sandy, before the end of the match, because it was a free kick situation again in Celtic's favour, when Rangers were really pouring everything into it. And
yes, I'd like to see this again. I thought at the time it was a good goal, and after seeing it on the television again, I do think it is a good goal. I don't think the goalkeeper's got impeded at all. I mean, who's touched him there? For me, that's a legitimate goal. I don't see any reason why the referee chopped that off.
Yeah. The referee seemed to be very quick and decisive. He was right on the spot there, Davy. He seemed to be, and there was no protest from anybody.
Yeah, I think I must say, I don't want to spoil Bob Valentine's last day, but he certainly has had better games. I'm quite sure that when he looks at the video of the game, he won't remember it as one of his best.
Well, your thoughts on the game finally? Clearly, in the first half, you were both, I think, disappointed, Sandy, finally.
Yeah, the second half was a wee bit better, but to be honest, I don't think it lived up to what I expected of the game. It was too fast, it was too many meaningless kicking up the park, and from a Rangers point of view, I think they'll be very disappointed with the way they played. Celtic, I thought they deserved to win over the piece, and although they didn't play great themselves, but they'll be delighted because they've won the cup.
And it has made Celtic's season, Davy, I think it's safe to say.
Well, I don't think I've ever known so much pressure to be on the Celtic players to win a cup final, and it must be one of the most satisfying results of Billy McNeill's managerial career. Fabulous day for him.
Right. Gentlemen, thank you. A pleasure to have had your company this afternoon. Thank you both very much. High drama at Wembley, incidentally. One each, remember, after 90 minutes. Everton scoring in the last minute of the match. Ian Rush came on and made it 2-1. Everton came back and made it 2-2. And now we're deep into extra time at Wembley. And the score is, in fact, 3-2 now for Liverpool. So they've had quite a game there. And guess who scored the goal that put Liverpool ahead? Yes, you've guessed it. Super sub. Ian Rush. Well, that's it. It's also my last programme here at Scottish Television. I've enjoyed them all. I can't remember which one I've enjoyed best of all, but I've certainly enjoyed being here this afternoon. To take us out today, the goal which will make tomorrow's headlines, and the man that's going to be in the news for the rest of the weekend. From all of us here, thanks for being with us. Goodbye for the present.